Today I wanted to talk about two very important things to me, two things that helped completely change how I thought about myself and how I expressed myself. The first one being this chain, and the second one being this hair. For the longest time throughout my life, I never thought of myself as a creative person. I never was super expressive, in the clothes that I wore, the music that I listened to. I guess you could say I was always just a very minimalist person. And I think that was because I thought of creativity and self-expression as things that you would do in art class. And I was never a big art guy. I always thought, it's just kind of like an easy A, like whatever kind of thing like that. And so because of that, I never really put much thought or effort into how I was expressing myself and how other people saw me. But as I started getting older, especially during my junior year of high school, I really started tapping into who I was as a person. I really started letting the things that I liked reveal themselves, and the things that I was wearing, the music I was listening to, and just overall how I would carry myself and express myself. And the first thing that I started doing was wearing this 16-inch choker chain, not the pendant. I didn't have that at the time when I first got it, but this chain right here, I got it for Christmas in 2022, and I specifically asked for the 16-inch, not the 18-inch, not the 20-inch, but the 16-inch. I wanted the shortest one possible because Lil Uzi, who is still my favorite artist, back then he was also my favorite artist. I was heavily inspired by him and how he dressed and his style. He was super iconic for wearing the choker chains, and to express that part of myself and that interest, I wanted to have a choker chain for myself. Currently, I feel like it's not super uncommon to see guys with choker chains, but I feel like that is a very recent thing. Even in 2022, I would say, like when I first got this chain, it was very uncommon. I didn't know a single other person who had a choker chain, and when I first wore this out in public, I was like, I was very, not self-conscious, but it felt very different. Just because it's not like the typical masculine thing to wear. But I've worn it pretty much every single day since, and I've absolutely loved it. And it just serves as a reminder to myself that no matter who's out there, no matter what judgment is out there, always be yourself. And that's sort of what this chain reminds me to always do, is to just be myself, that no matter, who you're around, what they think of you, just always be yourself, always express who you are. Because even when I first started wearing this, there were some remarks that were said to me that were poking fun at my masculinity or whatever because of this. But I didn't really care because I thought it was sick. Like I said, I was really into Lil Uzi, and he would wear 8 of them at a time. So I never really paid much attention to those comments because at the end of the day, I liked it, I thought it looked sick, and I thought, I was rocking it. And now look, 3 years later, you see dudes all the time wearing this size chain. I was doing this 3 years ago, and Lil Uzi was doing it probably, forever ago. The point is that now it's an acceptable thing and people are doing it, pretty often. And, even just 3 years ago, it was a little weird. So at the end of the day, things that are weird now are going to be normal eventually. And so why should you let the fact that it's weird now limit you from being yourself? It's pretty much the backstory as to why I wear this chain. If you look at any of my videos, I have it on in every single one. But now I want to talk about the second thing that really helped me, express who I am, and that is something very recent, and that is this hair, the dyed bleach blonde hair. Believe it or not, there was a time in my life where I was absolutely against dyeing my hair, and now this bleach that I have in it right now is the third time that I've dyed it. So I dyed my hair for the first time in October of last year, so 2024, and this was something that was very impulsive, I would say. In fact, the inspiration for it was I was on Pinterest and I saw a picture of Zayn Malik from One Direction, and he had the bleach blonde hair but just the highlights on the top, and that's originally what I got. And like I said, it was a fairly impulsive decision. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it. Going into it, I was like, if I don't like it, then I can just cut it all off and I'll have a buzz cut. You know what, that's how it's gonna be. But ultimately what I learned from this was to take that step and try something new. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, I wasn't sure how it was gonna look, but at the end of the day, I got it, and I absolutely loved it. Loved it to the point where I re-dyed it with more highlights, and then ultimately re-dyed it where I went full blonde. And because I loved dyeing my hair so much, I learned that you should always try something new. Like I said, I was absolutely against dyeing my hair. even when I was thinking about it and I saw that picture of Zayn Malik, I was like, do I really want to do this? Yes or no? How's it going to look? This is something I've never done before. And then ultimately, I just took that leap of faith, and well, you know, here we are almost a year later, and I still have blonde in my hair. But ultimately, what I learned from this and what I want you to take away from this is that you need to get out of your comfort zone and try something new, because you never know how much you will end up liking that thing. This can apply to literally anything. It can apply to the gym and trying a new exercise. It can apply to food, trying a new cuisine. Point is, you never know how much you're gonna like something until you actually do it. And so what I encourage you to do is to just try everything with an open mind, because you never know how much you are going to like that thing. So ultimately, the lesson that, you know, this chain and this hair taught me was to, you know, not only to always be myself and always express myself, but to also try new things. And, you know, even if the result is unclear, even if you're unsure how you're going to feel about it after the fact, just take that risk. Because as long as you are trying new things and you are being yourself, you're going to live a very, very eventful and fruitful life, a life that, you know, will have minimal regrets, a life that you can look back on and be proud of and say that, yeah, I tried that one thing. Maybe it didn't go as well as I thought it would, but at least I know. Or maybe I tried that one thing and it went super well, and now it's something that I absolutely love. But the point of this video is very simple. Just be yourself and try new things. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Stay positive and stay safe.